Hey everyone, Max here with another video about Princess Connect. So my last video guide about future gacha banners ended with Tsumugi. And because Tsumugi is coming around the corner after Ilya, I figured it is time to do an updated video guide about future gacha banners. And this time I plan to cover all of the characters released up through October. So I'll be brief in this video. Ilya I talked about recently. She is a PvP powerhouse and also important for CB, and everyone should look to get Ilya. After Ilya we have Tsumugi. Tsumugi is a PvP powerhouse. She is a starting 2-star permanent character. That means that she's very expensive to raise in terms of divine amulets. And players should skip Tsumugi unless you are a heavy spender and you also have a focus on PvP. Going into June, we have the start of the limited characters. Summer Pecorin is the first 3-star limited character. She is a good to have character for PvP, used for a fairly long time, although not that useful for CB or any kind of general PvE content. I would advise only players who have a PvP focus to pull on Summer Pecorin. Everyone else should skip her. Summer Suzume, she is useless, so everyone can skip her unless you are a collector. Then going into July, we have Summer Karu. Summer Karu is an extremely important character for CB Magic teams. I would advise all players to pull for Summer Karu unless you plan to not do any kind of CB at all. After Summer Karu, we have Summer Tamaki. Summer Tamaki is a nice to have character for CB. She is useful for some occasional bosses, but not used all the time. I would advise players who have a CB focus to pull on Summer Tamaki. Players who don't really care about CB too much or who mainly do PvP can consider skipping Summer Tamaki. Going to August, we have 2 permanents. First permanent is Tomo. She is a permanent 3-star. She is actually very good for CB, kind of similar to Arisa, although she is a melee character. But she is a permanent, so I would advise that players skip Tomo unless you have a lot of gems or you are a high spender and you also have a CB focus. Everyone else can skip Tomo. Then we have Maturi. Maturi is a permanent 2-star. She is not very good at release and everyone can pretty much skip Maturi. Going into September, we have Halloween Shinobu. Halloween Shinobu is a limited 3-star. She is a extremely powerful PvP character that changed the meta again after Ilya. And she will be a core PvP character for an extremely long period of time, all the way until the Year 2 summer events. She is a must-have character for PvP players. Although CB only players who don't care about PvP at all can skip Halloween Shinobu. After Halloween Shinobu, there is Halloween Misaki. Halloween Misaki is another powerful PvP character and useful for a fairly long time. She is not quite as important as Halloween Shinobu, but I would rank her as more important, for example, than Summer Pecorin. I would recommend PvP players to try to get Halloween Misaki as well if you can. Then going into October, you have Christina. Christina is a must-have character for CB. Her importance for CB is on the same level of Makoto, so CB-focused players need to make sure you have enough gems to pull Christina when her banner comes around. She is also sometimes used for PvP, although not really that useful. So if you don't care about CB at all, I guess you could consider skipping Christina. Then after Christina, there is Ruka. Ruka is a 3-star permanent. She is a tank, occasionally useful for some CB bosses, not used that often, so most players can skip Ruka unless you have a lot of gems or you are a high spender and you also have a CB focus. After Ruka, there is Nanaka. Nanaka is a 2-star permanent. She's kind of used for CB for a while, a couple of months, and then she's not really used after that. So most players can just skip Nanaka unless you are a heavy spender and you have a CB focus. So that's all for this video, and I'll talk about the individual characters in more detail once their gacha banner comes closer. Thanks for watching and see you next time.